I've been asked to make a public apology on behalf of my wife. More than that before I do this. Saturday evening at approximately 6:03 p.m., my wife ventured out into the wild. We went to a somewhat fancy restaurant with some of her neighbor friends. Apparently, there was also a quite large networking event for a company. She has asked me to do two things. One is a preemptive apology towards everyone that was in the restaurant that night. The second is an actual apology for everyone in our neighborhood when she arrived home. A couple things you need to know about Boozanne. First is that she only partakes in adult beverages once every, I don't know, 2.5 to 3 years. Second thing you need to know is that once Boozanne has had several of these, she is no longer Boozanne. Is what I affectionately have called for the last 15 years, Inspector Boozanne. Once Inspector Boozanne has had one frozen lime concoction of a very specific kind, she becomes curious. 2 frozen lime concoctions of a specific kind, she becomes suspicious. 3 frozen lime concoctions of a specific kind, and she becomes every member of the FBI from Criminal Minds. Becomes convinced that there is some sort of wrong that has occurred that night, and only she knows what it is and who did it. So at approximately 10:27 p.m. on Saturday night, give or take 6.5 minutes, I get a text from her. That text says, "I'm back. Come to the neighbor's house." I, presuming something is wrong, say, "Is everything okay?" Says, "Yes, I just want to hang out with you." Which I am now suspicious, because if she wanted to hang out with me, I'm right next door. I walk over to make sure she's okay, and instantly, when I walk inside of the neighbor's house, I become aware that she is speaking in a volume that is not meant for this earth. Stand there and talk for a few minutes before Boozanne turns to me and she says, "We need to go. There's a mystery afoot." And at this point, did I have to make the decision that I do every 2.5 to 3 years, which is, I have 2 buttons I could push. One is, let's get out of here. You need to go to bed. This is crazy. The other is, let's see what happens. We walk out, obviously, because it's me. I hit the let's see what happens button. As it turns out, Inspector Boozanne is convinced that while she was in the backseat of the car being driven home, she saw a dog. A dog that, in her words, needed to find its forever home again. Here's the thing about Inspector Boozanne and hitting the let's see what happens button. At this point, you know you're in for a 3.5 to 4 hour excursion. We go home, she pulls up a laptop, she makes a lost dog poster. She's messaging everyone in the neighborhood she knows, asking if they lost their dog, of whom are rightfully freaking out, and then Boozanne says, "The dog is red. The dog is red or brown," which a rational person would say, "Well, I'm not on a PBS episode of Clifford, so..." Question mark? And then, as always happens in these events, the great phone-a-thon begins. Inspector Boozanne begins calling and FaceTiming practically everyone in her phone. Thing is, I'm next to her this whole time being like, "Boozanne, it's time to go to bed." The people that she's talking to are messaging me separately, texting me going like, is Inspector Boozanne back? I'm texting back being like, "Yes, for the sake of our entire house and all of our kids not waking up, please can you just hang up?" But the thing is, they know as well as I do, because they've been down this rodeo before, that all that means is that Boozanne is going to keep calling them back. And it just drags on for, no joke, 4 hours and 26 minutes. Somewhere in the neighborhood of 73 calls, 219 messages, 112 lost dog flyers. Or she is finally overcome by what I also refer to in these situations as Snoozanne. She falls asleep, wakes up the next morning, walks downstairs. We're all down there eating breakfast. She sees the lost dog posters. All the kids see the lost dog posters. Everyone's confused except me, because at this point, I know what's going on. I have pieced together, based on when she said she saw that dog and the fact that the dog was red and or brown, that what Inspector Boozanne thought was a dog was actually a fire hydrant. So to everyone that received a very strange or somewhat confusing text message or phone call, and also to our city council, I apologize on behalf of my wife for the messages that you got regarding what turned out to be a not lost fire hydrant.